East 34th Street Heliport is a heliport on the east side of Manhattan located on the East River Greenway, between the East River and the FDR Drive viaduct, also known as the Atlantic Metroport at East 34th Street. It is a public heliport owned by New York City and run by the Economic Development Corporation. History: the East 34th Street Heliport opened on the site of the original East 34th Street ferry landing in 1972, providing charter, commuter, and sightseeing flights, and served as a replacement for the heliport atop the Pan Am building, which closed in 1968 before reopening for 3 months in 1977, ending in a May helicopter crash that killed 5. During the 1980s and early 1990s, New York Helicopter operated frequent scheduled services from the heliport to New York's John F. Kennedy Airport. 14-seat turbine-powered Sikorsky S-580 helicopters were used on this service. After several residential high-rises were developed in the neighborhood in the 1980s, the city was pressured into reducing helicopter traffic in the area. Sightseeing flights were banned from the heliport in 1997. In 1998, operations were further restricted by limiting flights from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekends. Weekend flights were banned altogether later in the year. U.S. Helicopter began providing regularly scheduled passenger service from the East 34th Street Heliport to John F. Kennedy International Airport and Newark Liberty International Airport in 2007, but shut down operations in September 2009. As of November 2009, it was uncertain if or when scheduled shuttle service would start up again. Current operations: since this is a heliport and not an airport, there are no instrument procedures for this facility. The level of boating traffic in the neighboring East River requires that pilots exercise caution in making their approach to the heliport's landing pad. Airlines: Heliflight, chartered JetSmarter, seasonal, East Hampton, Southampton. Statistics: 72% of the flights are air taxi, 18% general aviation, 9% commuters, and less than 1% military. Accidents and incidents: on May 23, 1974, David Frank Carmichael, a 22-year man from Greenwich Village claiming to be a member of the Jewish Defense League, hijacked a helicopter from the East 34th Street Heliport and demanded $2 million in ransom. After landing on top of the Pan Am building, the pilot tried to escape and Carmichael shot him in the arm. The hijacker was held back by the other hostage inside the helicopter until he was taken into custody by police. On February 27, 1975, a Bell 47G2A on a non-commercial flight from Garden City crashed into a fence while attempting to land at the 34th Street Heliport in gusty wind conditions. The pilot survived but was severely burned in the resulting fire. On April 26, 1985, the engine on an aerospatial SR-360 Dolphin failed shortly after takeoff from the East 34th Street Heliport, sending the helicopter into the East River. 5 passengers and 2 crew members were rescued, but 1 passenger trapped inside the submerged craft was killed. On May 2, 1988, a Bell 206B on a sightseeing flight around Manhattan crashed into the East River near Long Island City while preparing to land at the East 34th Street Heliport, killing 1 person and injuring 4 others. On February 10, 1990, a strong gust of wind sent a Bell 206L on a sightseeing flight, crashing into the East River shortly after taking off from the East 34th Street Heliport. A 14-year-old boy was unconscious when pulled from the wreckage and later died. The pilot and 3 other passengers were injured but survived the crash. On June 17, 2005, A Sikorsky S-760 carrying 6 corporate executives from MBNA returning to Delaware after a business meeting in New York City crashed into the East River less than 1 minute after taking off from the East 34th Street Heliport. All 8 people aboard survived the crash. On October 4, 2011, a Bell 206 crashed into the East River, killing 1 person after taking off from the East 34th Street Heliport. The pilot and 3 other passengers on board were rescued. 1 week after the accident, a second passenger died as a result of injuries sustained in the crash. The National Transportation Safety Board report on the crash, released on December 20, 2012, said the cause was excess weight in the helicopter. The aircraft is rated to carry 3,200 pounds, but it was estimated to have weighed between 3,228 pounds and 3,461 pounds at takeoff.